So we're delving into this idea of an economic tsunami that's now unavoidable, right?
Yep, exactly.
Einar Tangen really lays it out how the US strategy over the past decade has pushed adversaries like Russia and Iran into, China's sphere.
That's quite a strong claim. How does he explain that exactly?
Well, his argument starts by pointing out that the US has been deliberately sort of exacerbating tensions by aligning against certain states. And then, interestingly, even those once considered friendly states like India are being nudged into the Eurasian group.
Yeah, I catch that. So essentially, the idea is that by pushing these states closer to China, the US is inadvertently, or maybe even purposely, fomenting a shift away from its own economic influence.
Exactly. It's like a domino effect. The more threats, whether real or perceived, against the BRICS countries, the stronger the incentive for these states to, reduce their dependence on the US
That's a
economy.
compelling point. But doesn't that also hand China an unintended advantage in the global stage?
Absolutely. That's the crux. It's like by anchoring adversaries closer to China, the US is basically undermining its own position, creating a scenario where an economic tsunami is inevitable.
Right. And I suppose this raises the question about the long term sustainability of this strategy, doesn't it?
It does, indeed. I mean, think of it like you're trying to hold back a flood with a single dam. Trump's promises to reverse this trend seem to have, well, floundered, and now we're seeing a doubling down, where even countries like India, traditionally seen as allies, are being repositioned into these new alliances.
Yeah, that's significant. Hold on a minute. Aren't there risks in aligning with adversarial states? I mean, this realignment could potentially lead to, say, more volatility or unpredictable economic consequences, right?
That's a fair critique. I think Tangen is essentially warning us that the current trajectory creates multiple layers of risk. It's like every threat against the BRICS cluster fuels a feedback loop. More distrust leads to more decoupling, and eventually an economic tsunami that nobody really controls.
I see what you mean. And if we step back, this sounds reminiscent of some of the geopolitical chess moves we've seen evolving over the last decade, doesn't it?
Exactly. If you look at it, these aren't isolated incidents. It's like a series of moves in a geopolitics grandmaster game. The US, by continuously pushing its adversaries into China's sphere, inadvertently sharpens the lines, making, well, economic conflict almost
Yeah,
inevitable.
totally. What I find interesting is how Tangent touches on the role of increased threats, leading to an incentive for reducing dependency on the US economy. It feels like countries are hedging their bets, right?
Precisely. It's like each threat is a signal, time to diversify away. The more we see this happen, the more likely countries are to seek alternative economic partnerships.
Exactly, yeah. And what about the timing? I mean, it seems like Tangent is saying that the economic tsunami isn't a distant possibility, but rather something that's basically unfolding now.
Yes, the urgency is palpable. It's like he's warning us that the changes are already in motion, what with shifting alliances and the strategic repositioning by the US.
That's a real wake up call. I've got to ask though, do you think there's any chance for the US to recalibrate its strategy before it's too late?
Honestly, it's hard to say. The whole approach, as Tangent suggests, seems to have reached a tipping point. It's like trying to reverse a runaway train. You might slow it, but once those alignments are in place, the momentum pushes toward a full blown economic
True.
restructuring.
I'm a bit skeptical about this inevitability. While the trend is concerning, couldn't there be counterbalancing forces like economic recalibrations or new alliances that might stabilize the situation?
That's a good point. There are always variables at play, but Tangen's view suggests that the cumulative effect of these adversarial pushes has, more often than not, reinforced a cycle that diminishes US influence. It's kind of like a self fulfilling prophecy. Each move weakens an already teetering status quo.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And in that sense, it might not be solely about the US missteps, but also about a broader global reordering of economic power.
Exactly, it's like the world is undergoing a systemic shift. The traditional balance, which was heavily tilted in favor of the US after the Cold War, is now challenged by a multipolar scenario where, alternative power centers are emerging.
Absolutely. So, if we zoom out, what does this mean for regular economies and businesses worldwide? This isn't just high level geopolitics, right?
Not at all. Think of it like ripples in a pond. While the initial impact is at the geopolitical level, the economic tsunami will eventually affect everything, from currency fluctuations to trade dynamics. It might lead to sudden realignments in supply chains or even, shifts in consumer markets.
Yeah, that makes sense. It almost sounds like a massive reallocation of economic capital. But is there any silver lining here? Or are we all just bracing for impact?
Well, there's always opportunity amid chaos. In fact, these types of realignments often force innovation. Companies and countries alike might rethinking their strategies, investing in new sectors, or, forming unexpected alliances.
Yeah, that's a positive spin. That's true. But it's also a precarious balancing act. I mean, while innovation might be stimulated, an economic tsunami of this magnitude could also lead to severe disruptions and hardships.
Absolutely. It's not an all or nothing scenario. There's a lot of uncertainty. But Tangent's perspective is a call to acknowledge that the forces reshaping the global economic landscape are both profound and, dare I say, irreversible.
Yeah, you nailed it. One final thought. Considering this, do you think policymakers are fully aware of what's unfolding, or are they caught off guard by the speed of these developments?
Tough to say. It seems like many are still playing catch up. Some are clearly aware, while others might be underestimating this gradual yet relentless realignment. It's a bit like watching a slow motion avalanche. You know it's coming, but its impact is hard to fully grasp until it's here.
Very true. This certainly gives us a lot to ponder. The interplay of geopolitical strategy, economic policy, and emerging global alliances is, well, truly complex.
Indeed, it's a dynamic that blends political maneuvering with economic imperatives. And as Tangen suggests, if nothing is done, the tsunami might not only be unavoidable, but also a game changer for the entire world.
Absolutely, it's a wake up call. I guess, in the end, the lesson here is to stay informed and prepare for shifts that could upend the established order.
Exactly, and perhaps this insight encourages a proactive approach rather than reactive measures. It's a reminder, really, that global power dynamics are never static.
Yep, you got it. Well, thanks for walking through this with me. It's always enlightening to unpack these layers, especially when the stakes seem so high.
My pleasure. And here's hoping that awareness ultimately drives better decisions in this complex economic landscape.
Right on. Until next time, let's keep a close eye on how these shifts continue to evolve because they are bound to reshape our world.
Absolutely. Stay curious and informed. Thanks for the engaging discussion.